The Twilight saga was, well, a saga both on-screen and off. The first film grossed nearly $400 million at the box office, leading to a fever pitch of Twihard obsession around the world. Of course, with that level of fame often comes scandal, and the cast of Twilight certainly wasn't immune. From jaw-dropping affairs to sudden cast changes, here are the biggest scandals that threatened to derail the stars' careers and the saga altogether. The Robsten craze. Undoubtedly, the biggest celebrity news story to come out of the Twilight saga was the demise of the relationship between stars Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson. Their mysterious, media-shy fling began to unravel in July 2012 after Us Weekly published photos of Stewart getting way too close to her married Snow White and the Huntsman director Rupert Sanders. The photo bombshell dominated the tabloids, forcing Stewart to issue a public apology to Pattinson for cheating. The couple tried to weather the storm, but wound up splitting for good in 2013, with Sanders' marriage also a casualty of the cheating scandal. While Stewart later called her breakup from Pattinson incredibly painful, Pattinson ultimately took it in stride, telling British Esquire, "It happens, you know. It's just young people, it's normal, and honestly, who gives a shit?" Fair enough. But before they were done, they still had issues aplenty, particularly when it came to the explosive attention they received from fans. Throughout the relationship, Stewart and Pattinson were plagued by internet and tabloid gossip alleging that their relationship was nothing but a Hollywood publicity stunt. Whether far-fetched or not, there were a number of incidents along the way that certainly fanned those flames, like when Stewart told T magazine in 2016, "People wanted me and Rob to be together so badly that our relationship was made into a product. It wasn't real life anymore."
That was pretty fun.
The bulk up. When director Chris Weitz was hired to direct the second Twilight film, New Moon, rumors swirled that he was thinking about replacing Taylor Lautner with an actor who physically fit Jacob's buffed-up description in the book.
Taylor left the first movie at being like a 15-year-old little boy with a long wig.
Amid the drama, Lautner campaigned to stay in the movie by transforming his own body into that of a chiseled beast.
It was a lot of hard work all the way around. I mean, obviously a lot of hours in the gym, but the most challenging part was definitely the eating process. I had to double my calorie intake per day.
Ultimately, he won the right to continue his role through to the end with the full confidence of the director, who said he was always convinced that he was going to be able to do it. But there was another actor whose unceremonious exit from the saga was handled much less nicely. The Victoria switch. Rochelle Lefebvre played the villainous vampire Victoria in both Twilight and New Moon. However, much to the horror of the Twilight fandom, director David Slade decided to give her the boot before filming kicked off for Eclipse, which would have been her most prominent appearance in the franchise. She was replaced by actress Bryce Dallas Howard, with the studio citing scheduling conflicts over Lefebvre's attachment to indie project Barney's version, but Lefebvre was openly stunned by the decision. Incidentally, Catherine Hardwicke, who had directed the first Twilight, came forward to say that the studio had always wanted Howard for the role and cast Lefebvre when Howard wasn't available, adding insult to injury. Eventually, though, the two Victorias got together to ensure there'd be no bad blood between them.
The circumstances around it had nothing to do with us. She's awesome.
The marriage bust. In March 2012, the tabloids confirmed that Peter Facinelli, who played Dr. Carlisle Cullen, and his wife of 11 years, Jenny Garth, were divorcing. Garth later revealed in her memoir, Deep Thoughts from a Hollywood Blonde, that while the split seemed sudden, it was many years in the making. Facinelli's overnight success in the Twilight saga, combined with his bi-coastal work life while filming Nurse Jackie in New York, contributed to the stress. She wrote, "All I know is that I felt like I was waiting for him to come home, waiting for him to be free to join me in the day-to-day of our family life, waiting for the next job to be lined up that would take him far away from us again." That next job turned out to be the movie Lucy's, where Facinelli met Jamie Alexander, who would become his fiancée. But that relationship wasn't meant to be either. Alexander called off their engagement in early 2016. The airport meltdown. Bronson Pelchet, who played a member of Jacob's Wolfpack, had a public relations nightmare on his hands after exhibiting some very bad behavior at LAX in December 2012. Pelchet was first kicked off a plane after he was deemed too intoxicated to fly by officers. He was then told to wait for another flight, during which he allegedly began urinating in public by the gate, all of which was later broadcast by TMZ. Cops returned to the scene and arrested him for public intoxication.
Oh, that definitely did not happen.
After the incident, TMZ discovered that just 1 week prior, Pelchet had been arrested for felony meth and cocaine possession at a bar. He was later sentenced to 2 years probation for the peeing incident. The Wild Child. Back in early 2002, Nikki Reed and eventual Twilight director Catherine Hardwicke co-wrote the movie 13 based on Reed's tumultuous upbringing. Hardwick told the New York Daily News, "When she started changing from 12 to 13 years old, I saw her losing her joy. She became so angry. It really freaked me out. I wanted her to get back to creative rather than destructive things." While the film earned strong notices and an Oscar nomination for co-star Holly Hunter, Reed later admitted she wasn't ready for fame at age 15 and that 13 hindered her relationship with her parents. She also admitted to Zoe magazine in 2012 that the film wasn't as autobiographical as she thought it was, saying, "It was from one kid's perspective and not a well-rounded one. You get older and it's like, how dare I portray my father as being a totally vacant, careless schmuck?"
Bitch.
What the hell?
Thanks for watching. Click the Nikki Swift icon to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Plus, check out all this cool stuff we know you'll love too.